Lightweight, compact, and built like a tank, this little powerhouse is Echo One's latest entrant into the world of upper echelon AEGs, the Robinson Armaments XCR. The XCR is a perfect mesh between innovative design and the conventional flexibility of an AR variant, making it an awesome piece of work. Out of the box, the first thing I noticed was how solid the build quality was. There is quite literally zero wobble in this gun, a rare find in most AEGs. This is entirely attributed to the exceptionally solid design. The upper receiver consists of one-piece machined aluminum. Even the rails are actually part of the upper receiver, which makes for an incredibly sturdy platform for any accessories. In addition, the lower receiver is also one-piece aluminum and features beautifully engraved trades, along with a unique serial number. Combined, the aluminum build makes for an ultra-lightweight, yet sturdy AEG, keeping the weight just over 5 pounds. Moving on, the XCR yields some of the best ergonomics I've seen on an airsoft gun to date. To any M4 or M16 users out there, this gun will feel familiar, and yet, in my opinion, far more comfortable. The pistol grip, for instance, is of the standard M4 design, while the fire selector features a 90-degree rotation as opposed to 180. It's also worth mentioning that when the fire selector is set to safety, the trigger can still be pulled, but will not fire. Furthermore, unlike the real steel, the fire selector is not ambidextrous, and unfortunately cannot be switched to the other side. On the flip side, you'll find a standard M4 style mag release. As far as magazines are concerned, the XCR will accept most M4 style magazines with ease. Moving to the rear of the rifle, the XCR features a side folding stock, complete with a very comfortable cheek piece, along with rear and mid sling mounts. When folded, the side folding stock cuts the length of the weapon from 29 inches to 20. This feature alone can be an invaluable asset in both indoor and outdoor games alike. The XCR also displays a working bolt catch that reveals a hop-up unit unique to the XCR. The bolt mechanism is complete with an ambidextrous bolt release located at the base of the trigger. Lastly, the XCR is finished off with a faux gas block located above the flash hider. The XCR also includes a metal counterclockwise flash hider to replace the plastic one the rifle ships with, one 120-round mid-cap magazine, a stubby vertical grip, and a faux PEC box. Unfortunately, the PEC box will not fit most standard batteries, so if you plan on using the PEC box, it might be wise to pick up an 11.1 PEC 15 style LiPo battery. The takedown on this gun is one of the simplest I've ever seen. To start, unscrew the 5mm bolt that holds the barrel in place. With this bolt removed, the barrel can be slid straight out. This allows for some very streamlined barrel maintenance. The XCR makes use of a 247mm inner barrel, along with a unique hop-up assembly. With the barrel removed, it's time to move on to the upper receiver. In order to remove the upper, simply tap out the pin located forward of the mag well. Lastly, this rear Tamiya plug needs to be disconnected, and that's it. With the upper receiver removed, it's evident that the XCR is designed in such a way that it's capable of taking both an internal stick-type battery or utilizing the external PEC box. As for the gearbox, the XCR has a unique split gearbox design that takes its roots from the version 2 gearboxes. In order to access it, pop up this small clasp located below the air seal nozzle. From here, apply a bit of force and pull the upper shell at a slight angle and it will pop free. The split gearbox design makes spring swaps a breeze, as well as cuts down on the general time for reassembly. Upon closer inspection of the upper portion, it becomes evident that the external quality is definitely reflected upon the internals. The upper shell features a metal spring guide clear polycarb piston, polycarb tappet plate, ported metal cylinder head, and a unique air seal nozzle. Moving down to the lower shell, the internals are just as solid. The lower contains steel gears along with a pre-installed sector clip. Also, note the tiny springs located atop the gears. These springs are a product of BFC's self-shimming gear design. All in all, the internals are exactly what you'd expect from a $400 gun. Pretty much flawless, uniform, and built to last. And from the look of it, the gearbox is fully version 2 compatible, air seal nozzle aside. Also, one last note, upon reassembly, it's important that the bolt is pulled back when fitting the upper receiver, or else the bolt catch will not function. We'll kick off the score with some chrono readings. With 0.2 gram BBs, the XCR was firing an average of around 372 FPS. When it came to range, the XCR had no problem hitting a man-sized target at roughly 150 feet. When it came down to the rate of fire, the XCR was firing around 12.5 rounds per second on an 8.4 volt battery, grabbing it a 7 on our chart. On an 11.1 LiPo battery, the rate of fire was cranked up to around 22 rounds per second. As for accuracy, the XCR had an average of about 1.56 inches from the center of our target at 50 feet away, grabbing it an 8. As for grouping, the XCR did just as well, with an average of 2.2 inches between hits, earning it a 7. In terms of external quality, the XCR garnered a 9.5. The externals are absolutely stunning, and quite literally seamless, not to mention lightweight. The only problem I found was after quite a bit of field use, the stock became loose. Luckily, the stock is easily tightened from the inside, and after some Loctite, this wasn't a problem. Lastly, the XCR took a 10 out of 10 in our internal rating. After a lot of trigger time, there isn't a doubt in my mind that this thing can't hold its own. The internals are built to last and can easily endure beating from a LiPo right out of the box. Not to mention the convenient split gearbox design. Overall, the Echo One XCR tops our current list with a well-deserved score of 41.5 out of a possible 50 points. In conclusion, the XCR is easily one of my favorite guns to date. With its M4 ergonomics and unique yet practical styling, this is sure to be my go-to gun for any scenario. Whether it be outdoor or indoor, the XCR has you covered. The ability to go from CQB to outdoor in a pinch with its side-folding stock is an awesome feature all in itself. And although the gun may be shooting a bit hot for CQB, that's hardly an issue with the spring swaps as easy as they are. Not to mention all the real estate you get with this gun. So, if you want a deviation from the norm, but still want that M4 you've always loved, wrapped up in a compact workhorse of a rifle, look no further than the Echo One XCR. Want more? Be sure to check out and subscribe to youtube.com/evitecom and my channel at youtube.com/astripelesszebra for the latest airsoft reviews and short films.